Good morning, students. The topic for today is land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife. Let's begin the topic by comparing the life of two children, Mamba and Peter. Mamba was a little girl who lived in a small village in Tanzania, one of the hottest places in Africa. She had to walk for a long distance to fetch some drinking water. It took several hours for her to go and return. When she came back, she helped her mom with the household works and she also took care of the cattle. Her father was a farmer, he grew maize and beans in his farm. It was just enough to feed his family for a year. There was a boy named Peter. He lived in New Zealand, which is a small island near Australia. The climate was very pleasant. He went to school and after he came back, he used to take care of his father's sheep. His father had a wool processing factory and he also grew some organic vegetables in his field. When we look at the life of Mamba and Peter, it's completely contrasting. This is because of the difference in landforms and availability of resources. Now, observe this map. It shows the global land use pattern. The light green color represents arable land or agricultural land. Red color indicates permanent crops. Yellow indicates permanent meadows and pastures. Green indicates forest. Dark pink indicates other land. And blue represents inland water. Now observe the pie charts. You notice that arable land is very less in most of the continents. Permanent meadow and pastures occupy 7 to 31%. Forest area also differs and other ratio is more in most of the countries. Now pay attention to this population map. You can notice that the shades show the density of population. Population is low in rugged and rocky terrains, steep slopes, waterlogged area, and desert. But population is high in plain and flat areas and river valleys because this area is suitable for existence. Now, people use land for agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, laying roads, and for building industries. There are some physical factors that determine the land use patterns. Number one is topography, that is the formation of land, whether it is a valley or a plain or a mountain or a plateau. Second is soil. Third is climate. Fourth is the presence of minerals. And the fifth is availability of technology. This table shows the land use pattern in some selected countries. As you can see, India uses 57% of its area for agriculture. Australia has the highest pasture land. Japan has 67% of forest area and Canada uses 52% of its area for other purposes. Land is divided into two types: private land, which is owned by individuals, and community land, that which is owned by a group of people. They use it for many purposes like collecting fodder for cattle, growing fruits and vegetables, nuts, and medicinal herbs. Land degradation is taking place because of landslides, desertification, etc. The land can be conserved by planting more trees and reducing the use of fertilizers and pesticides. Now let's see what is a landslide. Landslide is a natural calamity in which the land moves from its place because of earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Sometimes, due to heavy rainfall, the land mass moves from its own place. This leads to destruction of life and property. To protect ourselves from the landslides, we need to follow the mitigation methods. Number one is finding out the landslide prone areas. Number two, construction of retention walls. Number three, increasing the vegetation cover. Number four, providing drainage control structures to prevent surface runoff. Now, let's see the next important resource, the soil. Soil is formed by the weathering of rocks. The soil profile consists of topsoil in the uppermost layer, subsoil, parent rock, and bedrock at the bottom. There are some factors that determine soil formation. Number one is parent rock, which determines the texture, chemical properties, mineral content, and permeability. Number two, relief. Altitude and slope determine the accumulation of soil. Number three, flora, fauna, and microorganism affects the rate of humus formation. Number four, time determines thickness of soil profile. Number five, climate, temperature, rainfall influence the rate of weathering and humus. Degradation of soil is caused by deforestation, use of pesticides, and rainwater wash. So we need to conserve the soil by following these 7 methods. So let us see the methods now. The first method is called mulching. The bare ground between the plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. This helps to retain moisture. The second one is called contour barriers. Here, stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. The third method is rock dam. Here, rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. Next method is terrace farming. These are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. They can reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. The next method is intercropping. Here, different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown in different times to protect soil from rainwash. Next method is contour ploughing. Here, ploughing is done at the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. And the last method is the shelter belts. In the coastal and dry areas, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect soil cover. So if we follow these 7 methods, we can conserve soil. Okay students, now let us see the next important natural resource, that is water. Water is a vital renewable natural resource. 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water, and that is why it is called as the water planet. Now water is used for drinking, cooking, bathing, washing clothes, washing vessels, and gardening. Now, the availability of fresh water is very less, and hence we need to conserve water. So, water conservation can be done by following some methods like rainwater harvesting and using sprinkler irrigation in the fields. So, thus we can protect our water resources, because nowadays there is a danger of water pollution and contamination of water resources. Hence, it is our duty to conserve the water resources. So, let us summarize. The land, soil, and water are important natural resources which we need to conserve and preserve for the future generation. Thank you, students.